Welcome to Backstage with Geoffrey Morrissey. I'm your host, Geoffrey Morrissey. I'm at Newport Folk and joined by Tamara from the weather station. How are you today?
Good, how are you?
Good. Brilliant set earlier today down at the Harbor stage. We were talking a little bit about this, but who are you looking forward to seeing, or who did you enjoy seeing yesterday?
Oh man, I had a great day yesterday. I was really excited to see Courtney Barnett. I've never seen her play. I was really stoked to see. I didn't realize she was such a shredder on guitar.
Oh yeah.
Such a great player, so much great tones, great solos. So that was awesome, and obviously she's an amazing lyricist, and it's great to see her play for the first time. But a big highlight for me yesterday was actually seeing Lavender Country play just a couple songs with the J.P. Harris thing. I know Patrick. I actually played with him for a show once, but seeing him sing a couple songs, the songs are so good. It's so emotional and powerful, and I really loved that experience.
Yeah, what JP had going on over there was so cool, and certainly only at Newport type thing, which is
Totally.
the stuff that we're looking for. And then so there was a big unannounced set yesterday at 6:15 to 7:30. If you could fly one person into Newport for an unannounced set, have them headline the festival, who would you put on there?
I mean, Bob Dylan.
Bob Dylan, okay.
Or Neil Young.
Bob Dylan
I
or
would
Neil
settle
Young?
for either of those, or Joni.
Or Joni, okay.
Yeah.
My favorite was yesterday. Someone was like, "Oh, it's Elton John," and then they went, "No," and then he goes, "Oh, well, it just must be Neil Young," as if just Neil Young were ever a thing.
Yeah.
I agree with you. Those would be great picks as well. So I love the new record, and I feel like that's the operative title, self-titled, The Weather Station. Everyone says it's new, it's different, it's unlike anything that you've ever done before. Which, sure, it's a little bit different, but when you think back at that record, what is the one thing that you wanted to make sure that you kept the same, that you didn't want to change up, that was inherently the weather station that you didn't want to mess around with?
I think the focus on the lyrics and on the performance of the words is really important to me. For me in recording, it's like trying to capture a vocal performance and sound that feels alive, and so the lyrics, like I say, are so important to me. So it was cool to surround them with some new tones, but to keep the vocal performance at the center.
Well, yeah, no, and that's something I definitely think the emphasis on the songwriting is certainly still there. I also like sort of looking at the age of 30, because I was talking with another band, the Menzingers, and they released an album called After the Party, where sort of the party was, the 20s, and now they're sort of in 30. So what is it about that year that is sort of like a muse once you arrive at 30, where people start sort of taking a look at things and, either writing about it or looking at things in a little bit of a different way?
Yeah, it's quite interesting. I mean, I think that people definitely I had a very foolish idea of 30 as being the age at which you are supposed to settle down, have kids, move to the suburbs,
Exactly.
et cetera, et cetera. And I'm glad that I feel like now people are really just changing all those narratives and doing things their own way. But I think, there still is that feeling that you're supposed to have accomplished something by 30, this specific thing, whatever it is. But I think, having turned 30 and being in this new decade, I love it. I feel so much happier than I did in my 20s, because I just feel like I understand what matters to me. I'm way more confident, or more comfortable with myself.
And what are some of the ways that sort of manifests that comfort and that confidence for you when you think back?
I think in my 20s I was very serious and thoughtful, and I never wanted to let anyone down. And now I recognize that I'm definitely going to let some people down. And sometimes I'm letting someone down because I'm actually doing something that's way cooler than I could do if I was thinking or worrying about what they thought.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
It's the year, or the decade of you, I guess, which is...
Yeah, the decade of just being a bit more comfortable.
And so when you think about this album, The Weather Station, what's the one lesson that you're going to take either from the recording of it or the release schedule of it that you want to apply to your next record? Maybe something you learned in the process that you can't wait to try again?
Yeah, I learned so many things. I mean, because I kind of went into the record thinking I would collaborate with someone on producing, and then realized I didn't need to and I could just produce it myself. I've really realized that I always used to think of myself as very indecisive, but I actually know how to make decisions if I actually allow myself to make decisions. So I feel like I have a lot more confidence and excitement about constructing a vision and sticking with it, whether or not I think it's right. It's like just the ability to be like, this is what I want. It doesn't matter if it's the best thing. It's what I want. So I'm going to do it. So that's really freeing. And I think the next record, if I just keep going in that path, I kind of can't go wrong.
And people seem to be liking it too. So
Totally.
what you like is what other people like, which is sort of interesting Venn diagram there.
Well, I think there is an interesting aspect of music where people really respond. You know, it's the one vestige of sort of the idea of the rock and roller or whatever, where it's like people respond when someone is comfortable and when someone is doing what they want to do. You know, I think that's what people actually like.
Oh yeah, totally,
Yeah.
totally. Authenticity is key. And one of the interesting things that I was reading is that you always look to record your albums in a different space or a different studio. What are you looking for in a recording space? Is it a certain aesthetic? Is it something that has to do more with the sound quality or the way that things are going? What is something you look for in a recording setting?
Oh, I feel like every time it's just been a different situation. You know, I recorded a record in someone's basement, and I recorded a record in like a mansion in France. You know, and those things were that's just what came up. It was possible. But when I've been choosing studios, I mean, I think it's just, I don't, you know, you don't want to be in that really airtight, perfect studio where you don't feel like yourself. You know, you just want to feel comfortable and have a basic level of the studio working. That's really it. It's not too tricky.
Well, there we go. That sounds good to me. Now I know you have a busy day. I don't want to keep you too long, so I'll make this my last question. Who are you listening to right now? Who's been spinning on the tour bus?
Oh man. Well, we don't have a tour bus. We have a van. But so many things. Let me just think for a second. Well, I'm my friend Jennifer Castle, who's an artist I've looked up to for a really long time. She's from Toronto. She just put out a record. So I've been really into that. There have been a couple bands from Toronto that I'm really into right now. This band called Bernice, a woman named Isla Craig. In terms of like bigger, more mainstream acts, I'm just drawing a blank right now. what that's come out lately that I'm into. I've been really into like the Funkies lately.
Okay.
The African group from the 70s, and like Halou Marger. Yeah, I've been really into a lot of musicians from various countries in Africa.
Well, there you go. And if you're not into The Weather Station by The Weather Station, do that right now. Tamara from that band has joined me today. Thank you so much for the time.
Thank you.